first division captain right here, who's just clearly, look at his eyes. He's just been up playing his BS5. Okay, he's playing his BS5. Okay, let's not get it confused. He's playing his BS5 up all night trying to get platinum rank. Right? This is the strongest person in Japan, or the strongest person in the defense force. Right? I don't know if he's stronger than the higher ups or anything like that, but the strongest person in the defense force. He is number one. Okay, and this is what he likes to spend his time doing, which I ain't mad at. I ain't mad at it. But he's number one. Shinomiya is on his team now, and so is Kefka. All the rookies have dispersed into their new divisions, and those two are on his team now. And I'd imagine it's going to focus a lot on his team and them this season, or half of the season or whatever. But we got to see what he can do. Now, I expect him to have more screen time and show more, right? Us to actually see why he's number one. But the first kaiju that we see him defeat is, let me go to the scene here. The first kaiju we see him defeat is Godzilla. The first kaiju we see him defeat is Godzilla. Okay, listen, Japan, Godzilla, it is what it is. I'm mad at it, but clearly inspiration, Godzilla, right? That's what it is, right? So the first thing he does is jump out of the helicopter with no parachute, like he's Captain America, right? For those of you who've seen, you know, but he jumps out, and this is what he does, right? So and now don't get me wrong, it is an incredible display of power, considering who have we seen display this kind of power, which is Mina, I believe, but she has to charge up from what I remember. He did not, right? She has to charge up with that sniper to display that power that just wrecks everything. He did not, right? Destroy this thing from the inside out. Okay, and then it's just raining parts and blood all over the place, right? So is he the real deal? I think that alone shows you how strong he is and can be. Again, he didn't have to charge up to do this much damage. He didn't have to charge up to do this much damage to that huge kaiju, where we see Mina kind of has to have a countdown, kind of has to charge up to, like, do that. So again, he's number one. Okay, dude is number one. He's number one for a reason. And look at this, right? And he didn't charge up, right? So, but what I would like to see though is some more combat prowess from him. Yes, we see this ability, it destroys this huge kaiju, but what about, like the director was saying, in this episode as well, number 9, right? Kaiju number 9, the one that can disguise himself as humans and the one that is a real problem, right? Like, yeah, it's fine, he can defeat these big ones like this, but what about those? This is a badass shot. I ain't even gonna hold you. This shot is badass, right? This is a badass shot. I'm not even gonna hold you. And he tells Shinomiya, who's watching from the helicopter, what he expects of everyone in his team, right? Show me your unstoppable power. That's all he wants. Kefka's on this team. He just wants the same thing, him to be useful. But Kefka also joins his division, the first division. And this guy, the first division captain, mentioned something like, Kefka would be more useful if you killed him in used him as a weapon and get the weapon to me, right? So obviously Kefka needs to prove himself to everybody, not just him and the higher ups there, but he's got to prove himself to everybody. So, but again, this is a badass shot. Badass shot. Now, I want to go back to the beginning here for a little bit, because when this first started playing, I initially thought this was just a flashback of Kefka and Mina when they were younger, and you can see the inspiration that they have to be in the, Defense Force. But this was Kefka having like a nightmare or a dream, something of that sort, where he loses control. This could also be a future tense moment to where they're showing us something that's going to happen in the later season and later episodes, like him losing control like this, right? This could also be that, which, don't get me wrong, Kefka obviously wants to prove himself. He doesn't want to lose control, yada, yada, yada. I think he's going to. I 100% think he's going to, especially if he ends up fighting another kaiju that has him on the brink of defeat. Because that's how he lost control going against the director. Now, again, he didn't want to kill the director, so he didn't even want to fight him. And that's how I believe the director got him to the brink of defeat and, like, almost killed him. But for a kaiju, if he fights a kaiju, it'd probably be a little different, because he's going to want to fight and defeat the kaiju. So the kaiju may not get him to that point so soon. I don't know. But I do think he's going to lose control. The question is, when he loses control, who's going to be the one to stop him? Is it going to be Shineomiya, the first division captain, Mina, the lieutenant over there, Reno, right? Like, who is it going to be? And half of them want to get stronger, so Kefka doesn't have to transform anymore, and so they can stop him if they need to, right? Because right now, if he goes berserk, only the strongest people can stop him, and if he goes berserk, they're gonna kill him, right? So it could be another thing to where he loses control. Shineomiya and Reno are there to try and stop him. Some of the stronger people, the first division captain, for example, wants to kill him, take him out. They stand in his way to try and protect him, yada, yada. It could be something like that, right? Which I wouldn't be surprised. Okay, I'm just theorizing right now. I could be wrong, but usually stuff like this with the plot being what it is and someone's body being taken over by something that they to a certain point can't control, they usually lose control at some point. So I expect that to happen here. I'm interested to see who's going to be the one to actually stop him, though, right? And then this is the last thing that I want to touch on, is they got something going on here in the basement, right? Like, that's a leg in a suspended in some water tank or some liquid tank. Something's going on here underneath the Defense Force in the basement, right? Another human kaiju, maybe, or maybe they're trying to experiment with human body and kaiju or some shit like that. Who knows? But they got something going on here, right? So I'm assuming that's going to be explained later in the season as well. But I think it was a good start to the season. They introduced some characters. We've seen some familiar faces. Now it's time to get going. Okay, it's time to get going, and it's time to actually show people, why we waited for Kaiju number 8. I do know that the manga ended like a couple days ago. I don't read the manga, but I do know that it ended, and I've seen some people say that the ending it's just meh. Which, let's just be honest, most things that end nowadays, manhwa, is just meh, the ending. But I did like the first season of this series. I did like the first season. So I'm interested to see how the second season is going to go, and if it's going to be better to me than the first season. I'll give this episode a 7. It's just build up. It's just exposition, right? To you know, some stuff that's going to go down, introducing some new characters, seeing some old faces. Now it's time to show us what's going to be happening in this episode, in this season, right? I don't know how many episodes it's going to be. It's probably going to be like 12 or 13, but let me know what you guys think in the comment section below. Let me know who you think is going to be the one to stop Kefka or protect Kefka when he loses control, because he will, right? I'm calling him Kefka. Is it It's Kafka? It's Kafka, I believe is how it's pronounced. Kafka, not Kefka. Kefka is Final Fantasy. Yeah. Anyway, let me know what you guys think in the comment section below. That's all I have for this one. Thanks for watching. Till next time, keep on keeping on.